Well, thank you, Hannah. The time is now 6:54 on this Monday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go. President Trump announced he is immediately terminating the temporary protected status for Somalis living in Minnesota. Trump took to social media on Friday, accusing the state of being, quote, a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity, end quote. The president's announcement came without notice, and the Department of Homeland Security has yet to release formal guidance on how or when the termination would be implemented. Trump has pledged to dismantle TPS for hundreds of thousands of migrants, a promise he has begun to implement in his second term. Lifehouse staff officially opened a new youth wellness center in downtown Duluth on Friday. The space is designed to provide a safe and welcoming environment for young people facing mental health challenges or substance use issues. The ribbon-cutting ceremony marked the latest addition to Lifehouse's growing list of services. And to help remove any barriers of access, all services are free of charge and don't require insurance for youth aged 14 to 24. The public saw, heard, and tasted Ojibwe culture during a cultural celebration. Saturday was Native American Heritage Day. Visitors at the St. Louis County Depot learned about the history of treaties in the region and viewed the Ojibwe history exhibit, which will soon expand to the main floor. They also heard a hand drummer performance and enjoyed fry bread tacos for lunch. Organizers of the event say the most important part is sharing Native culture with the public and learning how their history connects with others.